is Kate. Welcome to Covert Narcissist 101. How is everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing okay. You guys are hanging in there. Please like and share as well if you like this. Guys, today we're going to talk about, is a narcissist still worried about you exposing them? Are they still worried about you exposing them? Yes, definitely they are still worried about you exposing them. And how do you know that they are worried about you exposing them? One of them is like they're still trying to convert people, they run into somebody at the store. They are still trying to play the victim. They're still trying to recruit more people on their side. So they're talking about how, okay, let's say maybe they run into somebody and they're talking about, how is everybody doing? The person is just asking them how they're doing. And they start going into the story of they haven't seen you in 3 weeks. You haven't come to check on the children, or you dumped the children over at their house and never showed up, or you held on to their kids for 3 weeks. Like there's some kind of story that puts them in the victim mode. So the person will be like, oh wow, what a horrible person. They are consistently trying to, sell this story. Afterwards they are still talking about you playing the victim. Why? So they can recruit more people. They want to still convert people to still look at you a certain way. Of course, the whole aim is, in case these people run into you, that whatever it is that you're saying, that they've already, convinced them somewhat. They would like to think that anyway, that, you're a horrible person. So they don't really take, so they can take whatever you tell them with a grain of salt. Another one is, obviously, they're non-stop talking about you. There's a non-stop talking about you. It's almost like if I talk about you long enough, I'll be able to discredit them. Like if they talk about you long enough to people, that they will be able to discredit you. So whatever it is, this time around, they don't need to play the victim. They're just telling people, listing all the, all the things that has been you did or didn't do. Of course, usually is something that they did. So when they start telling these stories, you are the one that did it now. So they'll keep repeating these stories to these same people. Like, you can run into them and the person will be like, about it's cold outside. He's talking about the weather. And somehow they will drag that information, they will drag that whole conversation back to you. Oh, it's cold outside. Yeah, I remember when, me and they and you, whatever, used to do this, and then you would do this, and then they go off from that tangent and start talking about you. Now be a story of how you did this and that. One time it was cold, and this and that happened, and it goes off. The story starts from just the person saying, the weather is nice, or it's cold outside, or it's hot outside. They'll put you in there because the whole idea here is, if I can talk, long enough, that actually believe this, if I can talk long enough to these people, I'll be able to discredit them. So if you show up to these same people to say something about them or whatever, they already figured that, those people will not believe you, because they've spent time coming up with all these stories. The majority of them, the stuff that they did, you did now, So if we talk long enough, hopefully we discredit you. That's the whole idea here. Another one is they're still hiding the new supply, direct contact with you. Unless it's being used, unless they're the ones leading this, but they will be hiding the new supply, directly contacting you, or you guys having a conversation, unless they are, using this social media, or using this to, get a rise out of you by sending a new supply over to your house or what. So they have to be the one controlling this. But outside of them controlling this interaction, or trying to have someone engage you using them, they're still blocking, stopping every kind of communicate, every kind of contact, with social media and whatever else with other people, because they still want to control what the new supply says, or what you said to the new supply. I mean, if you're interested in saying anything to the new supply, that is, so they do not want the new supply being your friend on Facebook, or, them not knowing exactly what is being said. So they are the ones that want to lead that whole, thing where, you know, they're going to use them, of course, to get the rise out of you. But they don't want you exchanging notes. They don't want you talking, being friends with them, or who cares? I know, pretty much that's the only place you can do this with the, social media, or if you run into them. So they are still hiding them from you, that you won't exchange conversations. So they are still worried about you exposing them. They're still worried about you exposing, even though they've been out for, 2 or 3 supplies out. They're still worried about you exposing them. So we could let everybody they meet, that somehow is like a potential convert. Let's convert this person. Make sure that they're on my side. They're not buying any negative things or bad things that you may or may not be saying about me. And it doesn't matter, because with you, depending on where you are with your healing, if you run into people and they ask you, "Oh, how is how you doing?" and you probably be like, "Oh, I'm doing fine." Or if they say, "Oh, I ran into the narcissist last week," and you're like, "Oh, really?" and you stop it right there. But for the narcissist, that never stops right there. That never stops right there. If anybody says they ran into you, that is a opportunity for them to now find something negative, something bad to say, to just in case you manage to tell that person something else that day, so they can come up with something. And it doesn't matter. You probably didn't say anything. Of course, like I said, even when you heal, you probably didn't say anything. All your answer would be like, "Oh, really?" And then you change the subject. No, the narcissist will use that opportunity to say something bad. Either say something of you as a parent, as a mother, as a father, or say something you did to a friend, or say something else you did five years ago to them. All of them, of course, lies. All right, guys. Yes, the narcissist is still worried about you exposing them. Guys, get ahead of your mind, and everything's falling into place. Please like and share. Take care.